If I gave you just a circle, possibly a portion of a circle, and I asked you to do just this, find area and perimeter, right, or in this case, circumference. Okay, of this circle, what do you think you're going to need to do in order for that to work? Casey?
Find the radius.
Okay, and how would you find the radius?
So you make two chords.
Good. So you do need to make sure you go through the step of you have to find that center point. And now, do you need to find the exact center in order to find or in order to measure the circumference? What if we just bisected one of these chords? What would happen?
You find the middle of that chord, but not the circle.
Okay, so if we work to find the bisector, the perpendicular bisector of this chord, and then we connected that all the way through, what we wind up seeing on this is from this point to this point is my what? The diameter. So if I measured my diameter, and it will be measured in centimeters. Okay, so let's just say, again, you guys will have more accurate markings than this, but it's about, let's say, 10.75 okay, for the centimeter or for the diameter. In my example here, obviously yours will be different. Okay, so if I wanted to find my circumference, I'd simply take 10.75 and multiply it by pi. Make sure you use the actual symbol for pi. Don't approximate unless the problem specifically tells you to. And so I get about 33.8, let's say, if I was rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay, now, what if I then wanted to find the area? Okay, do I take my measure for the diameter and do what with it to find the radius? So if I take 10.75, divide it in half, that gives me my radius. And now what can I do with that measure? Okay, and so now I can calculate my area from this. I can take pi times my radius, which I'm just going to highlight here, and square it. And so I get my answer to be 90.8 approximately for my area. Okay. Questions on that process? Okay, so this will work with sectors, with segments, okay, semicircles. You might get kind of that broken circle or portion of a circle, and I ask you to identify the remaining portion of the circle. Okay, so that's really what you're going to be looking at. Now, you could also be asked to find arc length. Okay, and arc length really winds up being kind of the same sort of thing. If I had asked you to find arc length AB, what would you need to do? What could you do to find, so your arc length equation is m over 360 times d pi. Okay, so we found our diameter right here, 10.75. Okay. What are some things that you could do to find your arc measure? Yeah, Monica? So you could find the center and then make the central angle? Okay. So one possibility, if that was the question, you would have to locate the center of your circle. And then when you draw in your central angle, you can now measure that with your protractor, and that's your m value. Any other ideas on what you could do? Joe? Good. So what if you just made an inscribed angle? What would you then do? You'd measure that with your protractor, and then this arc measure would be what compared to that? Double it, right? So another way to do it is to simply take any inscribed angle. So if you just made any inscribed angle, if we measured this angle right here with our protractor, double it, you get your arc measure.
Can we just draw that by connecting two segments to any part of the circle with like a straight edge?
Yeah, so just draw any two chords or segments whose endpoints are on the circle. Because it doesn't matter where this point lies, it's always going to be the same measure on that. And Chris? Yep. So to demonstrate that, if I put my protractor on this point, okay, and again I'd need to extend my line through here. So that I can see where my protractor crosses. But it would be approximately 40 degrees. Okay, so if I knew that this was 40 degrees, then what would my arc measure for this arc be? 80. Okay, now, once again, I could have found the center as well and done a central angle. If that's the case, then it's exactly equal to that measure. Okay. All right, so that's basically what you're going to be doing in that portion of the test. Are there questions on that?
We'll have to find the rest of the circle.
Like if I gave you like that, it's possible. Okay, so look over your construction worksheets. Okay, the questions that I give you will be similar to either what I just talked about or problems that are pretty much right off of your construction worksheet. Okay. Make sure